Thank you so much, Ms. Veena, for a beautiful introduction. Let me introduce our speaker for the day. Mr. Arun Ramkumar is a brand and product designer at Mojo Canvas with extensive yeah, with extensive experience in design, branding, digital creativity, and freelance project execution. He has worked closely with businesses, entrepreneurs, and professionals to build meaningful brand experiences. His practical understanding of both creativity and digital tools makes him uniquely positioned to guide us on how freelancers can leverage modern technology to build successful careers. We're delighted to have him with us today. Participants, please type welcome Mr. Arun in the chat box to welcome him in the talk show. Please type welcome Mr. Arun in the chat box. Please type welcome Mr. Arun in the chat box. Thank you so much. All right. So, Mr. Arun, before we start with the talk show, is there anything which you would like to add, else we can start with the interaction?
I can start. First of all, I want to congratulate Archana and team. I think I've been following you on LinkedIn, doing this, building a community, doing it week on week. It's not, it's not easy. So I want to appreciate you for taking the time to establish this community and get with the different diverse thoughts and speakers.
That is, in fact, exactly what me and Meena were speaking before you came in for the session. So thanks, Arun. Looking out for insights. Looking out for great insights from you. You and I, though we are from an entirely different domain, but at least somewhere we connect because we are also out there on the world on our own. So it's nice. All right. So let's start now. Basically, if you see freelancing today, that can feel overwhelming, especially for the full-timers out there. We all say there are hundreds of digital tools available in the market. For someone who is just starting the freelancing journey, what would you consider the essential tools every freelancer should know, regardless of their profession or industry?
Yeah. So some of my thoughts here today may sound a bit contrarian, maybe old school. Happy to see some more gray hat folks on the call. But I'll do my best to share my journey and what you can take away from it, right? So before going to the tools, I think today, especially with AI coming up, a lot of people are missing the fact that tools are there for you. You're not there for the tools. So it's very important to discern what your skills are, what your workflow is, and how the tool fits into a space within that picture, rather than trying to force fit to just for the sake of adopting tools or AI and all that, right? So some of the tools I may share today may be not AI per se, but depends on what works for you, right? So the first thing I think is to understand getting into freelancing, right? So in my case, it was more of, I would say, an accidental journey. I spent a long time, a decade and a half at Cognizant. And along the way, I picked up multiple diverse skills. The great cartoonist Scott Adams called them skill stacking. By eventually over the course of your career, you find things that you're good at, that you like doing, and you stack them up, and that gives you a unique blend of personality and skills that can help solve different problems, right? So I think the first thing is to start with that, to see what am I good at, what do I enjoy doing, and how can others benefit from it, and then build on that. And then figure out how do I get these skills out in the world, right? So we'll talk about things like discovery. How do you allow people to discover you? What sort of work are you putting out? And then how do you build people relationships to make sure you get the right sort of clients to work with? And then we come to process things like what tools I use to get my job done. How do I take care of admin and other things like that?
That's nice. So it's basically first as a full-timer and then you went into freelancing. Is that how it is?
So in my case, I probably began freelancing about early 2010. So it'll be 15 years. That time I was moonlighting. I was more of a weekend freelancer, right? So I've always had interest in cartoons. So I began cartooning, submitted a few institutions, Jam magazine.
So this was while you were working with CTS, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. In fact, this is exactly what we just spoke before you came for the, before you joined the talk show, me and Miss Meena were having a discussion. I was saying that many people do that. I think we should be also working on that line. So now when we are getting the same thing coming across from you, Meena, I think that's a wake-up call for you. All right. So now here's another thought process, which is a little bit more deeper than what I asked you previously. not every freelancer requires the same toolkit. So, in fact, when we started, I said that for me, ChatGPT is a boon. But you said that no, I don't actually like ChatGPT. I don't like AI. That doesn't mean that you are wrong or I am wrong. But our areas of experience, our areas of work are different. And for me, ChatGPT, Cloud AI, Perplexity, many of the AIs are actually. So now coming across to the same question. A designer may use different tools compared to a content writer, a trainer, a marketer, consultant, or a social media manager. Could
Right.
you help us understand which tools are most useful for different freelance roles and where beginners should start?
Right. I'll start with my specific areas of interest, which is design and
Mm,
illustration, cartooning.
mm,
So design, back in the day when I began designing, it was pretty much PowerPoint, right? So we had to do UI UX on PowerPoint. We had to do posters, flyers on PowerPoint. Uh, I was not into Adobe back then, so I had
mm,
to make use PowerPoint. That was the corporate ecosystem available at work.
mm,
So that's also good in a way because it helps you work within constraints to figure out this is the tool I have. What
mm.
can I do using that? And not
Correct.
be having the luxury of having so many tools to
Correct.
then get lost in what do I use and all that, right? But then obviously discover other tools that can augment your workflow. So
Mm,
currently in my workflow, I use Figma predominantly for various creative designs,
mm.
to be UI UX design, website designs, or
You said
flyers or other
Figma, is it?
products. Figma,
Figma.
yeah. Yeah. It was launched around 2015. Uh, I came into it for product UI design, but I eventually they've added a lot more layers where you can do presentation decks with it. You can do your social media creatives with it. Now they
Mm,
launched animation just a couple of days back. That motion graphics can also come into play. So they're
mm,
looking at an ecosystem of what all a visual creative designer can do, and then
mm,
adding on all those tools to help you sit in one place rather than having multiple tools to get multiple things done. And obviously, they have an AI agent yourself that can help you
mm. Oh,
automate certain aspects of it. I still love
okay.
PowerPoint, by the way. Believe it or not, I use PowerPoint to do some small animations. Right, I do
Mm,
cartooning, so I try to mix art things together and try to get some creative thing that you would not normally expect. So PowerPoint is
mm,
still I'm a big fan of it. In terms of illustration, I'm largely an Adobe guy. So Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop. I use it for logo design. I use it for my cartooning. I have like a digital tablet that I draw in. My wife has an iPad, so we pretty much are on different sides of the fence there. But for us, it works. So it helps us to
mm,
digitally create illustrations and then scale it for our products that we do, printing, merchandising, scale it up
mm,
different sizes and form factors. So that's really helpful for me. I know a lot
mm,
of folks may like using Canva. So Canva, think of it as training wheels, right? If you're somebody who wants to get some stuff done for you, you don't have a designer, you don't want to hire one, then it gives
mm,
you a lot of pre-made templates that you can use, customize, and quickly get things rolling, right?
mm,
But looking to get into design as a designer, then the
mm,
best way to start with the blank page, right? You want to have your own creativity, ideation coming through, and
mm,
just building off ready-made templates and bases is not going to help you develop those creating skills. So I would say
mm,
if you're still looking to get into designing, start
mm.
with Figma, start with Adobe tools to start with a blank canvas, and then fill in your ideas and then see how it helps you.
Oh my goodness, that's a very big task. But old school wins. And yes, I am also a fan of Canva. In fact, the background which you see behind me is made from Canva. So just like how you said, that Canva is the training wheels. So I think my training wheels are doing good. Now you have to guide me for Hikma. All right. So participants, please type in the chat box if you have used any of these tools such as probably Canva or Adobe, PPT. If you are using those for your designing, please type in the chat box which tool are you basically, which tools are you basically using? Are you sticking to PPTs? We do have people who are from freelancing area also, not just okay, Canva PPT. Fine, all right. Miss Mina is also along with me in this Canva and PPT. All right. So now coming to the same one. One common belief is that freelancing requires expensive software subscriptions and premium tools. So right now, when you're speaking regarding Figma and you're speaking regarding Adobe, the first thing which came to our mind is, oh my goodness, how much do I have to pay for it? Should I really be paying for it? I have Canva. I think it's doing the job well. So coming across from that angle as well, from your experience, which free tools are powerful enough for beginners, and what stage should freelancers consider investing in the paid software?
That's a great question. So I mentioned Figma. I think Figma still has a great free tier version that allows you to use a lot of their tools. To
Okay.
limited usage, you can create multiple projects and do with it.
Hmm.
But I think still Figma has a great free layer for solo users. If obviously
Hmm.
you need a team, you need a license. But if
Hmm.
you're an individual freelancer and looking to
Hmm.
maybe create a poster, they also
Hmm.
have vector graphics. So we're looking to get into those sort of vector scalable elements. Figma still
Hmm.
offers that. Right? So I would say start with Figma. And
Hmm.
then once you've mastered your way around that, then you can also try to replicate what you do in Canva. You can have ready-made stuff set up in Figma, and you can use it to modify elements and then keep it rolling through, right? In
Okay.
terms of illustration, if you have any artists on call today, so
Hmm.
Adobe is notoriously known for its annual pricing. They keep hiking it up and whatnot.
Hmm.
There are automated tools like uh, let I don't remember the name immediately. There are arts vector tools that come in to help you draw. I think Inkscape is one of them that help you draw. So I
Okay.
probably maybe make a list of those tools after the call and send it. You can circulate with the team. But
Yeah.
in my case, all of these tools come with free versions that you can use for a
Okay.
trial period or with limited features, and then see whether it works
Hmm.
and try different tools. In my case, I learned two, three other tools before I found on my niche. So as I said, it's about making the tool work for you rather than trying to figure out force fit yourself into the tool.
Okay. So we need to first, what you're saying is that we have to first try all the free versions, see which one is actually fitting us best, and then we go ahead and invest in.
That's right. So when I was on Figma, a lot of my clients were on Canva. So
Hmm.
I did try Canva, but as a creator, sometimes Canva gets annoying for me because it gives you like a straight jacket to fit it. Now they expanded their tool set, but
Hmm.
you have to figure out what's comfortable for you. It's like your clothes you're wearing, right? I like wearing cartoony prints and all that. In the corporate world, a lot of folks will have like formal shirts. I always be a bit of an outlier there. It's about what's comfortable for you, what expresses your personality and your motivation and goals, and trying to make that your I think your preferred choice of tools and experimentation.
Okay. Well, since you were speaking regarding Figma, so see, in Canva, I'm not too sure if you would have seen that, but since you said that it's training wheels and all that, I can understand that you're aware regarding how the system is for Canva, right? So is that the more or less the same thing as it comes across to Figma, or is it a different screen and work to work
The user interface is quite different. Figma has
on?
what
Okay.
is called like an infinite canvas. Think of it as like a blank whiteboard where you can start
Hmm.
layering on ideas.
Hmm.
Canva is almost like it comes pre-made. It gets you starting off, right? So
Hmm.
obviously your workflow is a little different. You start with something that's there, and then you modify it in Canva. Figma, you
Okay.
start with a blank slate. There will be a
Hmm.
lot of templates you can purchase online, or there are free things that you can get online and then modify it. And people
Hmm.
do share Figma files as well. But it
Hmm.
depends on I think why you're starting. If you're somebody who's not familiar with design,
Hmm.
using Canva gives you good sense to build your taste and judgment. What are the
Hmm.
posters I like? Why did they use this
Hmm.
color? Where is the logo
Hmm.
placed? What is the
Hmm.
text readability looking like? And that helps you
Hmm.
build a sense of these are because these have been built by designers themselves, and that's where you start to learn
Yes.
how we put together something. But when you want to
Yes.
explore your own journey, it's about letting
Hmm.
go of the training wheels and figure out what can I do myself and trying to
Hmm.
learn how I can build something myself rather than relying on what is already out there. So it depends on
Hmm.
what stage of your creativity you are in. It's not
Hmm.
bad to use Canva. Use that as as I said, like a starting point, and then
Hmm.
branch off from that as you develop your own style and sensibilities.
Okay. Maybe right now you might not be having in this particular laptop or desktop, whichever you're using. But when you have time, please take out a few of your designs to show us how you have worked on it. It would be wonderful to see that. And also to inform you, we're live on LinkedIn right now.
Oh, super.
Okay. Now coming across to this question. Basically, now if you see, even I started the talk show by asking regarding AI. AI is rapidly changing how freelancers work. Sometimes to save time, what I do is, okay, can you prepare a poster talking about these things? I just do it that way, and then I second get a poster, and I actually happily send it across to my clients as well. Clients who are looking for training programs, of course, for them the designs are not there, but what is the content inside the design is what matters. So they look at it in this manner, and I go ahead and happily use ChatGPT. I know ChatGPT is nowhere related to designing phase, but I still do it. So that is where my question comes across to you. AI is rapidly changing how freelancers work, from content creation and design support to research and productivity. People are using something such as Gemini and all those things. That is more for the design. There are countless AI tools available today. Which AI tools would you recommend freelancers they start learning first, and how can they use them effectively without being depending on them?
Right.
Without depending on them.
Sure.
I,
Yeah. I think
I
that's a
love
very pertinent, I think, timely question. Uh, so in terms of AI, I think recently all the in Claude came up with Claude Design, ChatGPT as ChatGPT images now. So they also are amping up, I think, their creative visualization aspects in the AI. I also tried some of them in terms of how they come out with. So one thing is obviously your thinking. So it all comes down to a prompt, as you said. How am I typing in an idea to generate what I want? You can give like a very basic line. It can spit out something that is fairly decent, right? I wouldn't say these are bad. But when you get to that level of generic spit out output, and then you start seeing a lot of them are starting to look similar to the days back where you can immediately spot, hey, this is like a Canva design. This is like ready-made sort of design. You see some posters have that same sort of paint streak. They have this bold font, and you start realizing that they start to look a bit similar. And that's obviously because it's pretty nascent at this point yet, right? So if you're somebody who's not too discerning about, I don't want it to be super unique and super original, I'm fine with it gets the job done for me. I just want to quickly share my content, as you said, and help somebody understand what it is, reach out to you. That's good enough. It serves that purpose. But if you're doing something truly unique, like maybe you're doing a book cover, you're doing like a poster for a big event, right? Then the question of, do you want to look similar to what's out there, or do I come with something that's original and outlier and bold and brave that's not already out there? So it's about how the discernment of what you feel, what your client feels, and try to find that balance on how I can use either approach. If you're on a very tight deadline, you have something to put out maybe overnight, then maybe it's a great way to use that without feeling too guilty about it, right? But you have enough space to read up to something. I'm working on a maybe first time author. A lot of folks just get stock images and then put out a book cover. Now, it's functional, it gets the job done, it's affordable, but if you truly want to make an impact, as a creator, I would feel let's really look at what is the philosophy of the book like, what message is it conveying, how do we come up with a unique thing that can really represent the story of the book, right? So I'm always on the side of the creator, and you can use AI tools as an enabler. In some cases, you can use it to maybe get some starter ideas going, rule out which ideas are working, which are not, maybe use it to fine tune your copy, maybe your titles, your captions, your grammar, for example. I still use it to check some copy I've written in terms of
it.
content. And you use it as a reference base to do some research. Want maybe doing
True.
a logo on a particular industry. Can I use it to
Mm,
quickly put together things that are already out there and then
mm,
figure out how do I differentiate and stand out? So use it to what fits your workflow rather than trying to just rely on it entirely. And again,
mm,
so going back to the same Canva reference, you can use it as a starting point to help you inform your thinking initially, and then
mm,
you apply your own experience, your own aesthetics, your own sort of style and preferences to build on that and actually come out with something that is meaningful, right? I want
mm,
to maybe use the example of music. I'm a big music fan, and often you see people trolling people that they copied other people because the
mm,
tune is similar or whatnot. But a
mm,
truly great artist, there's a great quote that says, you steal from one, that's theft. You steal from 1,000, that's like genius, right? So how do you take something that's out there and still make it your own uniquely? That's where I think AI still has a problem. It gives you something, but it starts looking same. So when you
mm.
start adding your own experience, your own sort of style and thinking, then you can really make it your own. So I would say define the balance and use what works best for you.
So, have you used AIs? Which ones have you used?
So I intermittently use all three because they're trying to have a healthy competition where one week suddenly they come out, one Claude comes out, and suddenly ChatGPT is coming, and then it goes. So I've used it for things like mock-ups. Maybe I create like a sticker, a laptop sticker. I want to see how it looks on a laptop. I want to see how it looks on a poster. I've used Gemini, I've used ChatGPT, I've used Claude. So currently, I think ChatGPT is my preferred tool because it is faster. It doesn't get hung up often. It gives something that's decent. Uh,
Mm.
Maybe that's a bit biased, but Claude sometimes has issues where it takes time to load. Sometimes it hangs. Maybe it's just me.
Mm.
Uh, Gemini, I've
Cloud
had
is
some great
limited, actually. Cloud is
experiences with
limited.
Gemini. Yeah, I've had cases where Gemini has had snarky responses back. I've been joking that AI is starting to get sentient and sarcastic. So I
Mm.
feel Gemini has a bit of a salty personality. So ChatGPT is
Oh, wow. This was something new. I never actually worked on Gemini. For me, just like how you said, ChatGPT. So I have my ideas in my mind. I just need an executor.
right.
So that is where ChatGPT was beneficial for me as well. When I send across, now my job is also sending across proposals to the clients. So I have it in my mind that what needs to be done. So I just tell, prepare a document like this, talk regarding this, in this talk regarding this feature, etc. Like that. I get that.
Right.
So ChatGPT, maybe from the scratch, probably I was not much helpful. It was not much helpful. If we have to start from the scratch, then yes, I have done that, but it took me 4 to 5 hours of time.
Right.
So otherwise, if I have the content in my mind, that probably takes me half an hour or 45 minutes of job, and it's done.
Right.
So
Super.
I have actually prepared proposals and sent across to clients in nothing but 45 minutes of time. I have done that.
Super.
And
Yeah.
so, it depends. AIs, I would say, yes, they are boon for you. Because if I look at it, preparing proposal 5 years earlier, I would literally sit for it for 24 to 48 hours, sometimes even 3 or 4 days before sending one. But now
Right.
I have it in 45 minutes of time. That's because of how, not just the experience, but also having it in clear that yes, now I don't have to sit and type has, have, is, am, are. That job is done. I have an executor there with me, so that is good. Participants, please type in the chat screen what are the other AIs that you have used. What are the various AIs that you have used? Let us hear from you all. What are the AIs that you have used? And also today I have not laid any restriction. Please feel free to unmute yourself and contribute anything towards the discussion as well. So I think among us, Mr. Shahid, Miss Chitra, and um, yeah, and I yes, is Mia is there in the call? No, she's not there right now. Okay, so I think Mr. Shahid and Miss Chitra are few of the people who are exposed to the. Oh, okay, Meena, you're there. Sorry, I missed you. So yeah, and even Mr. Sriram here. We are people who are exposed to the corporate scenario and working over there as well. Others would also be there, but I do not know them much. So can you tell me what are the various AIs that you have used?
You want me to speak or type into the chat box?
Please feel free to speak. I have no issues.
Yeah, uh, Chat GPT, Cloud, Gamma, not much of Gemini, sometimes Copilot, and yeah, more more of these.
Okay,
And
Gamma
sometimes
is also.
Perplexity also. For when I'm doing some research, I use Perplexity. I find their inputs much better than the rest.
Okay, Perplexity. Gamma is something new for me. I have never actually
Gamma's
worked on it.
amazing when you have content and you just give it to it and ask it to polish and give you a PPT. It churns out with all the right images and vision.
Oh,
Yeah, it's great.
that's nice. So definitely I have to check Gamma on that. And I really appreciate once you even reached out to me and told me few things which I can also be doing for my talk show. So,
Yeah,
that tells how experienced you are with regards to all these tools and techniques and stuff. All right. So now coming across
thank
to
you.
one, sorry, you were saying something? I continue.
Just a thank you.
Okay, all right. So now coming across to one more question. Clients, they often judge freelancers based on the quality and professionalism of what they deliver. Yes. So when I send across, in fact, the first stereotype is that she's a freelancer. I don't think she would be doing a good job. Then suddenly they see a poster like this and they're like, oh, wow, very good, amazing, brilliant. That's what comes across from their mouth. So now, whether it's presentations, videos, portfolios, proposals, reports, or social media content, which tools rather than the skills and the competency, I would say, which tools would you recommend for creating professional outputs without requiring advanced technical expertise?
Right. I think from a showcase standpoint, right? So website are obviously a great way to have and showcase some of your best work. If your work is of visual nature, you can also have some of your sample essays and articles posted there, right? So there are tools like Wix and Webflow. I've used both to quickly spin up websites. And nowadays, I think Claude and other tools also have ways to quickly spin up websites and get it hosted. Uh, in my case, I've kept it simple. A lot of my folks, I found when you give them a website, it's almost a code handoff, and they have to click and go to different pages. So I'd say have 2 3 levels of way to showcase your work. Uh, we have like a PDF catalog, a quick primer of things that you offer, different good examples, and maybe a link to a website if you want to explore more. Right? In my case, I've been lucky enough to get a lot of my clients through word of mouth referrals. You do good work for a client, they refer you to somebody. You don't
Yes.
necessarily seek out work. It actually comes to you, and they already have some information of what you've done because they've seen you work.
Yes.
And therefore, they're looking not for showcase, but trying to quickly understand your working relations. How do you, you
Right.
as a person, are they comfortable working with you? And then you start to establish that face-to-face time value, face value, and then connect and get it through. And once you're done with the project, it comes down to actually your soft skills. How do you communicate? Are you timely? How are you with processes? How do you add on to what they give you rather than being a blind order taker? And those are actually skills that help you. I don't think they care about what tools you use to get the work done. It comes down to how do you figure out what is your best way to deliver the best value to your client. So in today's words, in terms of AI, I see clients maybe coming with the starter rate on AI. They may give you something that they've tried to do. They realize it's not good enough. They come to you, and then obviously you either build on it or take a totally different path based on what their preference is going to be like. Right. So I think they're trying to realize that while you can use AI, if you're working with senior level folks, they won't have the time to actually go sit and do something in AI and then generate it. They still want an expert to come and then actually create something for them. They can use AI
Oh.
to inform their thinking and maybe serve as a reference point. They want to give you like an input brief, but they're not going to waste the time typing out something unless they have a larger team to help them do it for them. I work a lot of solo entrepreneurs like authors, speakers, coaches. They're largely one-man armies in some cases, right? They want to focus their time on their speaking, their presentation, rather than trying to spend time in AI, right? So it comes down to how much you want to do yourself and how much you want to give to somebody else. And it's important for you to find your spot in that ecosystem and understand where you can truly add value, which is the right of clients that actually value human craft and creativity and not
There
try
are
to go after
many
the
like
market.
that.
Yeah.
There are many like that. They all always go by it that the true worker is basically the ones who are working on their own. That's where expertise comes into. AI is just a training stuff for you. AI is not what is you're dependent on. So, we can easily distinguish. In fact, I can connect to the trainer's words, and I can state that when this AI had started coming in, and in fact, that was coinciding with the time of this. COVID also. So many of the people had stepped out from their work and they started becoming trainers. So every second person was a trainer. And I took it as a very big threat that now what do I do? Because I am good with my work, but unfortunately, these people are coming in who are taking help of so many tools and techniques. But still, I think it took people probably a year or two to get an exposure, and then they finally came back to the professional trainers. They could easily distinguish, the clients could easily distinguish a professional trainer to a chat GPT trainer.
Right.
So I think that comes across to you as well. I can also create designs from cloud AI or whatsoever, but still at the end of the day, people will be like, no, Archana's work in designing and creating posters is not so good as Mr. Arun. He's somebody who's actually done it. I think I would prefer Mr. Arun's work. That would definitely come into picture. So yes,
Really
expertise
put this
does
out
play.
there because that's what people are coming for. They're coming for you,
Yeah,
not what
they're coming for you,
when
not for
you
AIs. True,
there.
true, true.
Yeah.
True
I
that.
can, you can see it behind me. There are a bunch of post-it notes, right?
Yes.
So I worked with all ages, right? So recently, my most recent corporate experience, a lot of youngsters would come. They would not
Hmm.
carry notebooks to meetings, right? So
Hmm.
today's was all about typing. Yesterday, I saw an interesting video where the research was done on schools having writing on paper versus schools allowing typing. And they studied neural patterns, how your brain lights up when you actually start writing versus typing. It's all dim, right? So if today people use notebook LLM, they use various tools for minutes of meeting, and all that. You're losing the art of thinking, writing, tactile feeling, and I feel that will affect your brain cells in the longer term. So I still
That's
have my to-do tasks on
true.
paper, my deadlines. I may have an Excel behind the scenes to formalize it, but this gives me a visual sense of, hey, I'm doing this today. I've done this. I've checked it off. I remove it. Gives me a sense of, true tactile physical ownership rather than have a digital thing. Obviously, distractions. The moment you open laptop, so many other things come. You lose your way. So it's good to have a sense of real world and digital world and see what works best for you.
That's like actually completely agreed with your thoughts. True, all those. In fact, I think many of us would be siding by this that when you go ahead and write and go and make it manual, somehow or the other, of course, things are going to get better for you. In fact, I had started going a lot of digital, so I started experimenting on that, and then I started getting addicted to that. So I started using all of it, but in the context I saw that no, my mind is getting attached to only that. Where is my mind? Where am I? I'm looking at only all this. I've started becoming depending on them. So really, at one point of time, I went to the social detoxification phase, everything, and I went ahead and invested in getting a planner, and I started writing. I took out
That's
a notebook and I just wrote my name on that 100 times. I said, no, I want to write. I want to write, and just in a few minutes, not minutes, sorry, in a few days of time, I could see my old writing coming back, and that's where my brain wires and all that started working. Actually, it's a profession for that also, Arun. I'm not too sure if you would be knowing of it, but there are professions for that. Who it's not calligraphy which I'm talking regarding. There are people who say that if you go ahead and write these things and all, they will actually go ahead and help you out in becoming these kind of areas will become better. So they
right.
have sat and worked on this. They researched on it, showing that if you write in this particular manner, it will help you in this particular area of work. If you
Right.
write in, I have seen that. I attend lots of workshops, right? So I was surprised when I saw that a person who's saying that it will actually help you to cure cancer. It will actually help you to cure ADHD. It will help you to cure autistic. I was like, what is this happening? Is the world actually in that manner? But yep, that was true. That is what incited me to, okay, let me just pick up a pen and start writing. Maybe something will happen for me, and really did happen. So
That's
you're
super
right
interesting.
on that.
Yeah. Just one last thought. So yesterday, I think when you spoke, called me last week, you're talking about tools and artists. So in web-based artists, you tend to compare, you have your own legends, inspirations. You start to also look at what next, right? So one thing I normally ask is, I read a quote maybe a few months back said, uh, they built Rome without Jira. Right? So today, people are caught up in, I need these tools to build, right? A lot of great tools, software tools were built without all these modern tools, right? Or look at maybe art itself, right? Imagine going to Van Gogh, Picasso, and say, here's an iPad, can you create an artwork, right? So I've also been guilty of, I've used some tools, but I need to do it the real way, the old fashioned way, because then you truly start to actually put yourself, your soul, and your mind and body into it, right? So obviously, with time, you start to compromise on what I can use to be digital versus what is physical. But the more you add the physicality to, that's when actually you expand your craft and truly grow as a creator, I feel.
That's good. But Arun, you would also be, please repeat the quote. You said some quote. It came in the flow, or are you able to recollect the quote?
So on which topic? Sorry.
See, I expected it. Chitra, you can please go ahead and unmute what you said.
Thanks, Arun, for all that you've shared this far. So you just started off this last part of the discussion saying some quote or something. I couldn't hear you. I missed that part. Could you repeat that, please?
Was it on writing, you mean, or?
Yeah.
No, no, I said I was watching a video yesterday where somebody
Oh.
done research on kids writing in school versus kids typing in school, where the assignments are done. And they are measuring how your brain cells fire up when you're writing
Hmm.
versus they are not as much active when you're typing. And I also
Okay.
got a forward yesterday where first standard, they've introduced A in the syllabus. I don't know if it's real or a joke, but it's
Oh,
like how much you're putting kids through this whole rigmarole of AI and
yeah.
technology and
Right.
not holding it
Right.
back until it is actually required later.
Right.
Right? So the formative years are truly important. And I feel in a way I'm going back to school by writing and drawing on paper rather than writing.
Correct.
So it's the other way around. They are getting exposed to AI, and we are going back to school. All right. So now here's another thing
Eventually,
which
they'll
I'm
go back.
sorry.
Eventually, they'll also go back, but
Eventually,
for
they will
now, it's
also go
just a
back.
craze for them. Yeah.
Is a place for them to explore. So go ahead, let them do it. Okay, coming back to this question. So, Mr. Arul, I think you will definitely be accepting that we as freelancers, we have to juggle between lots of work, right? We have to do this, we have to do that. So, is there some particular tool or technique which has helped you in basically making sure that everything is properly synchronized and ordered? Say, for example, for me, I keep a note with me that at 10 o'clock, I'll be doing this, at 11 o'clock, I'll be doing this, and all that. Very simple. So, for meetings, yes, of course, I do use Zoom and I bring it back to Google Calendar. These are the only two things which has been helpful for me. Can you also please let us know if there is anything which has helped you out in making more ordered, synchronized? It is not just for freelancers, it is even for people who are working as a full timers.
Right. Uh, Unfortunately, I would have to say I'm a very disorderly person. And I am a dad to 3-year-old. So I think my last 3 years have been totally unorganized in terms of everything is a fresh surprise. My kid is banging outside the door right now. So I think I learned to live with that chaos, and in a sense of how to not
Each
compartmentalize.
person's opinion.
Sick on a day, go to school on a day, pack lunch or make some cooking for him. So it's been a bit disorderly. In fact, I'm more of a night person, so I tend to work when everybody's asleep at home. I may work till 2 or 3. You got a message last night at 3 a.m. from me. So again, it comes back to what works for you. It can be post-it note, can be Excel, can be Calendly, can be booking your calendar. A lot of folks say book your own calendar. That way, it helps you to actually formally block them. But when life happens, your calendar does not really matter, right? So it's about again figuring out what works for you and a system that you can fully have. I would again go back to having physical representation of having, if you have like a calendar or a day plan for the day, put that out, put a maybe boxes to say this is what I plan to do for the day. If you're an early morning person, wake up and do that the first thing. Then at least you have your day visualized in your mind. I can get that through. There are digital tools that can help you do that. You have tools like I think Miro, a lot of people use it for sketching and whiteboarding. You can have that. People use Notion a lot. I'm not a Notion user, but I hear it helps them organize their work, their planning and time well. But again, try it out and see what works for you. I'm still old school, as I said, so I have at least a rough sense of a journal, a notebook to plan what I have for the day, and then go
I
about.
like your notebook. What is that? That's a mind map. Hey, you're secretly doing something. So it's not writing in paragraph. You have drawn graphs there. My God, the creativity to an extreme end. Okay, so just to add to this, I would also like to state the same thing. Yes, of course, go ahead and do what is best for you. Write it down, use sticky notes. In fact, for me, since I'm also on the aspect of writing via diaries and all that, I could also see that the diaries is also getting a little bit mixed, because at one end I will be writing that okay, write just the plan, and the second end I would also be going and jotting down, just like how you did mind mapping. So what I really found useful was this sticky note, if you can see. So here, what I used to do was divide the diaries into different sections. So the pink one is basically whenever I have an idea of creating a YouTube video or creating a reels for this. So those aspects I would write it down with only in the pink. So I divide some 20-30 pages and put it out into pink. So I would know that yes, if I have to come back to this, I have to go straight away to the pink one. Again, an organizing as part of it. So yes, of
Yeah,
course,
goes back
apart
to
from that.
like notebook back in school with those 5 different colors, and you can have different
Yes,
things.
yes, going back to school. So we used to use notebooks with different either the page color, or else we would be using pen in that manner. So blue pen for this, pink for this, green for this. So probably this has been helpful for me as well. In fact, even those who are working as a full timers, I would say Mr. Shahid would be probably exposed to that if I might be right. So you have a cabin or you have a table there, and that cable is basically people use this markers, not permanent one, these ones, the general one with the whiteboard markers. You can write it down, okay, for a today to do list or task list, by Friday complete this. So they go ahead and write down the timetable also. Okay,
Right.
so these are also some ways in which you can organize. Mr. Shahid, could you please share if you are also using something to organize? Is he there in the call, or has he? There are people who have joined the call from their office, so they get occupied with the task. No response. I think he's occupied with something. All right. So now coming across to you, the last question for the day. If someone who's attending today's session wants to become a digitally freelance ready, okay, so old school as well as digital, freelance ready, or rather than digitally, I would say freelance ready within the next 60 to 90 days. Okay. So your plan is that in 3 months of time, I'm stepping out on the road. So what learning roadmap would you recommend? Which tools should they learn first, second, and third, and why? Why? So learning roadmap. How do you go ahead with that? So mine gets a little bit, jungled. So how do you give me that?
Yeah, I think
Maybe
that's
in
what the
more.
mind map is for. I'll quickly maybe read out, right? So I think assuming at this point you've realized what skills you're good at and what you want to actually freelance in. And today I think people are talking about traditional jobs are no more going to be that. It's about different gigs that you have. In my case, I do cartoons, I do book covers, I do logo design, I do branding. So multiple things. So it's about figuring out different things that interest you and doing work in that area. So first thing is to, once you've done that, is to have discovery, right? So how do you showcase your work? We talked about setting up websites using Wix for Webflow. Framer is also a good website builder to help you set up your stuff. A lot of folks, young folks, are now using Framer to build their own websites quickly. It comes with ready-made templates you can use to get stuff going, right? Or if you craft it, you can go the old school way of using WordPress to build your own custom websites, or have basic. Adobe has to like a great way to showcase your portfolio. You have Behance, you have Adobe Express, multiple things that are quickly set up like files to showcase your best work. In terms of social media, that's a great way to organically put out content, right? Because when people discover you organically, they get a sense of what the work you do, what sort of person you are, what is your personality and your thinking. So harness your social media, LinkedIn or Instagram, whatever works for you, why your audience is. I would say start posting more content, and that helps you actually expand your creative thinking. In terms of ideas, we talked about post-it notes. Google Keep is actually a great tool for me. It has a very easy, lightweight interface to quickly add some notes. Google
What's
Keep.
the name of the tool again? Sorry.
Google's Keep, Keep.
Google's Keep.
Like
Okay.
many post-it notes you can have again different colors, and you can pin notes. And you wake up in the middle of the night with an idea. You want to have a notepad? Add it to your phone, save it. If you don't lose your notepad, you still have it available, right? In terms of prospects, get your basic documents ready. Things like your proposal templates, your statement of works, your contracts, and maybe your payment policy. So with working with foreign clients, I use tools like PayPal or Skydo to quickly help payments come through. It invoices for you, does your conversions for you. In my clients' case, a lot of them have their own payroll systems like Zoho Invoice, where they may expect you some invoice online. So I don't use any invoicing tools per se. I have a generic Word Google Doc template to fill invoices, but mostly I use the client software itself to fill it. So don't get caught up on a tool. Figure out what your clients are using and then maybe align to that.
Okay.
In terms of delivery, I think storage is a very important aspect of people overlooking. Have a Dropbox or a Google Drive account where you store all the work with different versions of folder organized neatly. I have found cases where after 3 years, client comes back to me and says, "Hey, you gave me this. Can you give me the file?"
Oops.
Because they would not have stored it. So it's important that you, as a creator, have your files organized and not just sitting in your laptop. It may crash, you may lose it. Have a digital way to organize and store all the work that you do, and then have important to have that available for use for future needs as well.
Yes.
And the last thing is to do pet projects. If you want to attract work as a freelancer, figure out what is the type of work you want to do. Could mean picking up an established entity and maybe figuring out your own spin or your own take on it, and then seeing how you'd approach it. So people want to see your thinking, your creativity, and not just your output. So figure out a way to showcase your thinking out there, and don't hide behind AI. You can use it to help you as an assistant, but I see people creating AI avatars and videos and all that. People want to see what are you genuinely as a person, what are you doing and all that. So try to use that to put yourself out there, as we talked about earlier, and then hopefully the ones that value you will come to you. Otherwise, you're going to get getting lost in a sea of AI agents, human agents, so to speak, and not really stand out as a creator.
I got that straight away feedback as well. In fact, earlier I used to make YouTube videos in which I would be speaking, saying that, okay, do this, do that, etc., like that. Then once I saw this Powtoons, you might be hearing of it, right? Powtoons. So in which you can create your own avatars and you can use some animation, things like that. So I was like,
Right.
okay, fine, that's good. Powtoon is easy. So if you know PPT, you can create in Powtoon also. I was very happy. I happily created one. I spent probably some 3 or 4 days in creating one short video of 6 or 7 minutes. I put it up onto YouTube, and the first feedback which I received was, I don't like this. I like you coming and speaking. I was like, oh my God, why did I spend so much of time? So that is where you are also coming from it, saying that people are hiring you, for your thought, not for AI, that they can also get it done. So thanks a ton for that. All right, now participants, coming across to our icing of the cake. So we have our coaching session right now, our quiz session. Participants, please type ready in the chat box if you're ready for it. We will have a short quiz scenario. I'll ask you questions and give you options for that as well. So let us see if you get them right. Type ready in the chat box if you're ready for it. Done. Okay. So here's the first question which comes across. A new freelancer wants to create professional social media posts, presentations, and basic marketing creatives without advanced technical knowledge. Which tool would be the best starting point? Okay, Photoshop. All right. So Shahid Ashraf, oh my goodness, you scared me by saying Photoshop. I've not even opened that. I do not know how to work on that at all. Okay, Chitra also says Photoshop. All right, good. So we have a bunch of people who are very much talented, I believe. All right, which one do you say, Mr. Arun, is going to be like a new freelancer, does not have any professional social media posts?
I would say start with Figma because it's
Okay,
online stuff.
Figma,
Photoshop
nowhere in
is
the
you
option, but
can click.
start with it.
Yeah, I
Okay,
would
good.
say Figma is a good place to
It's
start.
yes, yes. It's each person's vision. I'm not saying that there is going to be any right or wrong answer. For me, it was Canva. Okay, it is Canva. So yes, for the best starting point. In fact, that's what even we started the discussion, that it's a good training tool. Okay. So till now, I do not know how to work on Photoshop at all. In fact, we had a syllabus also on that. I did start with that, but it was a little bit time, I mean, too much of thought process for me. And towards the end, the only thing which stopped me was that I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, I'm not a marketing person. Why am I doing all these things? So for me, Canva was good. I worked on that. But then again, each person's preference. So maybe what I am doing is not probably what the other person is doing. So of course, for them, Photoshop would be good. For them, AutoCAD would be good. AutoCAD again, none of us would be there, but people who are there from the that particular domain would definitely say AutoCAD. All right, now coming across to the next question. A freelancer wants to record quick walkthroughs and explain project updates to clients without scheduling meetings. Okay, which tool is going to be most helpful? Calculator, MS Paint, Loom, or screen recording tool, Notepad. Hey, we didn't speak regarding Loom at all. We'll speak a little bit regarding that as well. Yes, which tool would be most useful for it? Freelancer wants to record quick walkthroughs and explain project updates to clients without scheduling meeting. Which one do you see? Have you used Loom, Arun?
I've used it briefly, I think, for some of my product work. It also nice, just some nice captioning and bookmarking and stuff. I think Loom is a great tool, probably underrated. A lot of folks are not talking about it. It used to have, I think, a good craze a few years back. I think Loom is a great way. But I think in PowerPoint Keynote, it gives you recording capabilities as well. And there's a
Hmm.
basic Chrome thing as well. And there are basic video editing tools that come freely.
Hmm.
But yeah, Loom, I think, is a good place to start if you want hassle-free, ready-made stuff. I think Loom is a great place to start.
Have you used Snagit actually?
I've heard
Snagit.
of it, I've not used it.
Heard of it. Is Snagit or Loom the same? As in, what I'm thinking, Loom is that you speak regarding something on laptop or desktop or whatever, and Loom records your screen. Is that what it is?
Yes, if we're doing like a product walkthrough, you can pretty much go point and click. You can give commentary over it, or record
Okay,
the walkthrough separately and then add voiceover separately. So
okay, okay. So you need to add it separately, or you have an option to record it then and there.
you can do both.
Can do both. All right.
You can
So
also use Loom to conduct classes on a particular topic that you are familiar with and
okay.
record it as a session and post it online. I've
Oh,
used
okay,
Loom for
fine.
that. Yeah.
Okay, oh, okay, right. So I guess pretty much the same as the Snagit is. So I also use Snagit for the same thing. Whenever I have to explain using PPTs, so I actually just go ahead and click that option. My screen is recorded. I speak, so I make sure that you have this OPS also in that manner. So all these tools are basically just for screen recording too. So Loom is also pretty much the same, I believe. Okay, thank you so much, participants, for your response. Now, coming across to the next one. A freelancer wants help with brainstorming, drafting content, summarizing information, and generating ideas faster. Again, oopsie. Hmm. So, generating ideas faster. So, which one would you be suggesting for this person? VLC player, ChatGPT, WinZip, or Paint? Waiting for some response. I think this one was very big. VLC player. Okay, all right. So VLC player for brainstorming. Can that be used? I thought VLC player was just for playing videos and doing small editing in that, trimming the videos, etc. Like, right? I do not know. Maybe like that. Yeah, ChatGPT, thank you. Great. Well, an open question across to all the participants before we wind it up. So, based on today's discussion, which one do you think that you should be quickly starting to probably learn on that? Learn that maybe in the next 3 months or 6 months, I should be able to use that. Which one do you think that you should be using? An open question across to all the participants. So while we were having discussion, you thought that, okay, this tool is something great, this skill is something nice, I should be working on it. Do you have anything like that in your mind? Please go ahead and unmute yourself. Meena, Shahid, Sriram, Vijay Kumar. Design skills. Okay, Chitra, design skills. So Arun is your go-to person for that.
Yeah.
In fact, he spoke to me a few days earlier, and he said that, okay, if you have any poster, Archana, send it across to me. Let me see if I can also work a little bit on that. So that was something great. All right, so we are ending with it. And if participants have any questions, feel free to ask that before I wind up the session.
So yes, I have a question. The question is that, let's say if I'm a freelancer or maybe I'm a trainer and I'm not very, good in using digital tools. So since the since the beginning of AI, AI has like, let's say when I'm talking about, let's talk about a simple thing as PPT. I'm doing a PPT. Now, I don't know much about PPT just as a question, as an hypothetical situation. I don't know PPT as a trainer, but then now the AI tools have come into picture. So should I learn PPT from the start, or should I just apply AI and start learning the digital tools? Is my question.
Yeah, I'll go first. You can add your thoughts. I think as Chitra mentioned, right? So there are tools like Gamma, which allow you to quickly feed in some text. It can generate some
Correct.
nice looking things for you.
Correct.
Now, again, it comes back to what Archana mentioned. If your motive is to create more content and not waste or spend time understanding design, fonts, colors,
Correct.
use tools
Correct.
around it. You can use Canva, Figma slides, there's Gamma, multiple
Okay.
tools, right? So
Right.
a lot of them are free as well. So try
Okay.
some of those tools, and then
Okay.
spend your time creating the actual content, the actual text
Okay.
that you want to put.
Correct.
But if you
So
feel these things
yes.
are looking pretty similar, I want to do something
Right.
very bespoke and custom to you, then you go to a
Correct.
designer or to a freelancer who can help you actually set up your branding. You want logo, your brand colors, your fonts.
Correct.
Go to an expert
Correct.
to set up for you. Not everybody
Okay.
needs that. I think one common flaw or misunderstanding is everybody needs to have like a really professional brand and all that. Not really. If you're starting out, get your content out there, get your word, get visible, and then build on refining your brand. Nobody expects to see a perfect logo and perfect colors when you're starting out. So, but
Correct.
figure out what you're good at and what you can get people to hire you for, and then building on that as you grow your career.
Correct. So one more question is, how do I explore these new tools? I mean, I'm totally new to AI. So how do I explore it? There's a fear as well, whether I'll be able to do it or not. You know. So what is your say on that?
Yeah, I talked about my 3-year-old. The best way
Yeah.
to actually to do it, get hands dirty. He picks up multiple things, plays around,
Okay.
figure out
Okay.
what. So just simple Google search. Ask AI itself. Will give you top 10 tools. Right?
Correct.
Oh, I was gonna say that.
That you use within a few minutes. You figure out, hey, I can quickly pick this up. This is annoying to use. This is difficult. This
Correct.
then
Okay.
everybody's doing learning by doing. So that's only way I would
Okay.
say.
So it's just being curious like a kid.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so
That's
much,
what
Mr.
I
Arun.
had done. I wanted to learn articulate. So what I
Okay.
did was, since for me the starting point was clear that I want to learn articulate, I did that.
Right.
Otherwise, if you want, you can also go ahead and ask that what are the tools I should be using to create my own videos, animation videos. So it will tell you first 5 or 10, whatever. Then you ask what are
Correct.
the pros and cons for each of it, which is the free one, etc. Like that. You keep asking, then finally you get one particular tool. For me, it was articulate.
Okay.
I said, okay,
Hmm.
fine. Now, imagine that I'm a beginner. Can you prepare a 1 week schedule for me to learn articulate using the practice exercises? I actually put up a prompt like this, and it actually told me also All right. For
Yeah.
day one, on Monday, you do only this. Day two, you work on only this. Day three, you work on only this. So I actually learned a particular tool using AI. So I
Oh,
did it
wow,
in
that's wonderful.
that manner. So why don't you try probably on that manner as
Sure,
well?
sure,
So
sure, sure.
if you want to learn Canva, go ahead and ask that. Okay, if I'm a beginner in Canva and I do not know how to use Canva, I've never done it before, and I give you 15 days of time. I can spend only 30 minutes on each day. Can you prepare a schedule in around it in such a manner that I actually end up learning Canva after 15 days? It will actually prepare a
Wow.
schedule for you. So day one you do this, day two you do this, day three you do this. That's cool. All right.
Okay,
So
that's
now,
great.
now coming across to the sure, I'll start with this. Okay. Now coming across to the end of it. So first and foremost, really thank you so much, Arun. I really, really appreciated that you came for the session. From your schedule, you took out time for that. I really appreciate, and I also remember when you told that I'm right now taking a break from my entire full-time career. I'm sitting at home because I know how to make it good in freelancing. I'm doing that. I'm taking care of my kid. It was wonderful. I the first thing which stuck to my mind is here is a wonderful parent out there. And
Thank you.
even in everywhere in your LinkedIn and all, it's like I'm a parent, I'm a father, and this. So before anything and everything you put across, I'm a father. So that's a beautiful thing. I really, really appreciate that, telling from a perspective of it.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, now coming to the end of it, it was a truly insightful session, and I speak on behalf of everyone that we enjoyed it thoroughly. Before we conclude, a quick request to all the participants. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, join our WhatsApp community for regular updates on our talk shows. We hold it on every Saturday. And do leave us a Google review also if you found today's session valuable. The link is all there on the screen. I'll paste it again. We are also excited to share that our grammar lab, that is our corporate boot camp, is scheduled on 25th and 26th of July, starting from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. in the evening. I kept it in the evening to make sure that the corporates are also coming in. It is a practical workplace English program designed to help professionals communicate more clearly, confidently, and accurately at work. So, if you know of friends, colleagues, neighbors, who you think that would be benefiting from this program, it is not just a program of like a talk show. It is not like right now a LinkedIn learning program. It's not that. It is actually a practical workshop. I will take the participants through how can they enhance their English language skills. So that is what this training program is regarding. It's not just a general theoretical program. It's a practical program. That's what it is. Other details are available in the chat box. In addition to our individual learning programs, we also offer a flagship Confidence Communique training program. It is a structured 3 month communication intervention designed specifically for corporates or individual. If you want a focused 3 month communication intervention, I'll be actually providing for that as well. This program has already been initiated with a manufacturing organization. That's a group, but I also do it for individuals. For more details, feel free to reach out to me. Before we close, a heartfelt thank you to Mr. Arun Kumar for sharing such practical and relevant insights today. Today's session reminded us that in digital age, success is no longer determined only by talent. It is also shaped by the tools or even old school methods which we are using, the skills that we are building, and our willingness to continuously learn and adapt. Thank you to everyone who participated so actively. Please stay connected through our YouTube channel, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp community. Over to you, Arun, Mr. Winding, before winding it up, if you would like to add anything.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sonali, for having me. As I said, great that you're building this community, and a lot of folks took time to join on a Saturday morning. So have a great weekend. I know we didn't talk too much about tools today, but that's why I warned you on the earlier call that it's not about tools, but it's about figuring out your own sort of tools that help you on your way. And feel
True.
free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to share further experiences of how I came to freelancing and how it's been navigating both corporate and freelancing. So happy to have one-on-one chats with anyone on the call and share my learnings and pitfalls to avoid.
Hey, Arun, we did speak regarding tools. You did say that I use Google this, I use that. So that much is enough. We did speak regarding tools. Of course, we are not going to the technical aspects of it, but yes, we did speak regarding Gamma. We spoke regarding ChatGPT. We spoke regarding so many things. So we did speak regarding tools. Hey, I'm sorry, I have extended the time. I didn't even know that it was supposed to be binding at 11 o'clock, but we took time till 11:08. But maybe towards the end, I would love to see if you have any designs. If you can show, Arun, it's been so long. You have any in your system right now?
Let me see if I can share something.
Participants, I request you to please turn on your video in the meanwhile so that I can take a quick pic with all of you. If you can turn on the video. I'm taking a pic and I'm posting it across in the chat box.
Yeah.
Feel free to use it.
I'm going to share my working Figma files. So it's not client work, but probably some personal work, just to give you a sense of how.
Just share the screen
Yeah.
rather than sharing the designs itself.
Yeah, I am sharing my screen now. I can look at it. Ironically, my recent post was about Swiggy using AI images for their food and seeing how funny it was. Like, look at ghee roast.
Okay.
Look at ghee
Ghee
masala
roast
dosa.
is like finger chips.
Yeah. So I was making fun of how AI images it. People are using blindly tools and not really putting context into it. So this is a fun post making fun of Swiggy for using AI. So I use Figma to create like various presentations, carousels, and writing and posting and designing. This is about Jira. So think of this as an infinite PowerPoint sort of tool. You can use multiple things with it, use multiple projects. And yeah, that's my screen. That's where I create all my design works.
Oh, it's like zooming. It's an entirely different one. Cool. All right. Thank you so much for that. So participants, meet you again on the coming Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Please be ready for another interactive session. It is going to be an HR series, and looking forward to join you to see you there. Okay. Until then, have a powerful pack week. Bye bye. Take care. Please
Yeah,
feel
great
free.
weekend, guys.
Bye. Take care.